If you guys want to introduce yourselves real quickly too, because we have an extra minute and we're a small group. Mary, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi. I am based in Wyckoff, and for a number of years, I had a nonprofit, and our mission was simply to provide transportation with volunteer drivers for those 60 and over living in Bergen County. And Colleen was one of our volunteer drivers.
Good
So
to see
nice to see you, Colleen. And now I've just become certified as a group fitness instructor, and I want to focus on seniors. So I want to create a class that a senior could take to help them age friendly, in their own bodies and minds and so on and so forth. So that's my new initiative. So I'm here just to see old friends and to keep my foot in the senior world.
Great, we're glad to have you. And Steve?
Yes, my name is Steve Kroll. I was fortunate to be part of the steering committee for the Livingston Age Friendly Initiative, which was kicked off earlier this year. We went through our survey and our focus groups, and now we're going to be developing a action plan. And I've found, all the Rutgers emails that I've gotten and all the resources to be just overwhelming. And hopefully I can catch up and take advantage of them all. So thank you for having me today.
Thank you for joining us, Jim. And congratulations to Livingston as well for their age-friendly designation. I did see that in a recent email that went out.
Thank you.
I'm Jim Whiteley. I chair the board of Friends Foundation for the Aging. And really, I'm just eavesdropping on a lot of the sessions because I have a great interest in what's going on in the age-friendly movement, if you want to call it that.
Great. Well, we're happy to have you here and hopefully as an active participant as well, not just sitting back and listening. And Barbara, if you wanted to introduce yourself. Oh, we can't hear you. You're unmuted, but we can't hear you.
I see you there. Why? I know. I'm proud to be the one of the folks who works with Julia Stumbos, who is a part of the creation of the age-friendly movement in New Jersey. We're very proud to play a part at the Henry and Marilyn Taub Foundation. I'll be skipping around because I'm sampling to see what's going on. So thought I'd start here close to home, but I expect to move on in a couple of minutes. So nice to see you, Althea.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for stopping by, and we are so grateful for Julia, who's an amazing person.
Absolutely, so am I. Yes, I'm just as grateful for Julia. Okay,
as as well as the support of the Henry and Marilyn Taub Foundation overall. Thanks. All right, well, I'll go ahead and get started then. Everyone can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Good morning, and thanks for joining our table on Age-Friendly North Jersey, an alliance of leaders strengthening communities for all ages. We've prepared a brief slide deck to outline our basic functions. We will go over these briefly and then open up for questions and discussion. We encourage you to write your questions in the chat as you think of them. Colleen will be monitoring the chat throughout. After the brief presentation, you can continue to use the chat or raise hand reaction in Zoom to chime in with a question or point of connection. To introduce myself again, my name is Althea Pestine-Stevens. I'm a research project coordinator at Rutgers School of Social Work and program manager for Age Friendly North Jersey. Colleen Diskin is with us here today as well. That's why she didn't introduce herself, because she has an introduction here, and you'll hear from her as well. She's a communications consultant and core team member for Age Friendly Teaneck. Our coordinating team for Age Friendly North Jersey also includes Emily Greenfield, a professor at Rutgers School of Social Work, Rini Carniel from the Grotta Fund for Senior Care, Julia Stumbos from the Henry and Marilyn Taub Foundation, and our stellar team of graduate students at the Rutgers School of Social Work. So we'll start right away with the good stuff. Our engaged research since 2015 has taught us that there are 3 key conditions for successful age-friendly community building: strong local leadership, such as champions for aging in community, organizational leaders, and volunteers, a supportive municipal context, including government departments with a history of collaborating and elected officials who value older residents, and broader systems that support local age-friendly community capacity development and growth. Having one of these is great, but really to have it be something that takes ground and sustains, you really need all three of those. So age-friendly North Jersey is situated as part of this third bucket of conditions. It's a structure that works at broader system levels to support the efforts of local age-friendly efforts. Darlene Ravel, a participant in the network through Generations for Garfield, reflected on her experiences through the Age-Friendly North Jersey Alliance. She stated, the opportunity to network and share ideas with other age-friendly community leaders has had a lasting impact on the Generations for Garfield team. The Alliance gatherings foster a stronger sense of connection and engagement. By sharing our stories and achievements, we motivate each other to turn our cause into a movement. Colleen also has some reflections to share on this as well.
Yes, I wanted to point out that in our work in age-friendly Teaneck, it is advantageous to us to point out the ways in which we're part of a bigger alliance that is researched, informed, and looking at best practices throughout the region. And why that's helpful is that, as we all know, our local politics can get pretty charged, and sometimes some of the citizen advocacy groups can be seen as adversarial to the government leadership, but we're not in that space. We're sort of in a different space of community advocacy that's also offering help and assistance to the township in becoming age friendly. So that's the advantage of being part of a bigger alliance.
Thank you, Colleen. So Age-Friendly North Jersey emerged as part of the grant-making program of two private philanthropies that do grant-making on aging, in particular in the region. That's why it's North Jersey, because that's the areas that the Grotta Fund for Senior Care and the Henry and Marilyn Taub Foundation fund. This timeline tells the story of how we developed over time, emerging out of responsiveness to needs that arise. We build knowledge networks and communications while revisioning, restructuring as we evolve. That's why you might sometimes hear people call it the Alliance, Age-Friendly North Jersey, or a couple of other names, because we're constantly honing, what our name is and what it is that we do, trying to find what's really that best definition as our function changes, as needs change. A key turning point I want to point out on this timeline is 2021, when Rutgers became a grantee to co-administer the Alliance. So it had been before that individual communities would receive grants to do planning and implementation. And some communities are continuing to receive grants to do that. What changed in 2021 is that Rutgers received a grant not just to do research and evaluation, but also to co-administer the Alliance. This also means that participants no longer have to be grant recipients themselves, because we have a grant to include all interested communities in the region in our activities that we do, which I will go over very shortly. So what's next for us? We'd love for more communities and counties to join and continue to learn from each other's successes, regardless of the pathway that they're taking to become age friendly. As Colleen said, some have more of a political route depending on the relationship that they have with their municipal elected leadership or county elected leadership, and some go different paths. There's no one way to do it. Our alliance currently supports 16 plus municipalities plus 2 county initiatives across the northern region of New Jersey. We do have partners statewide and are more and more opening alliance learning sessions to communities throughout the Garden State, regardless of their geographic location. So this list shows who's been kind of most active the most recently, but we are very much wanting to connect with folks throughout the whole state. And when people reach out to me from Monmouth County or Ocean County, I don't want to have to turn them away, that's for sure. We want to be able to have something that we can connect them with. This is the bread and butter of age-friendly North Jersey. The inputs are who is involved, which are the organizers, the administrators, as well as all of the community leaders. What we do as an alliance, that's the activities. We coordinate monthly programming, connect leaders to each other on topics of mutual relevance. We develop and maintain communications, such as a listserv, a Padlet bulletin board, monthly newsletters, etc. We meet with new and longstanding communities to check in. We conduct research and evaluation. We aim to support and amplify their work through our work together. So we also have our long-term outcomes and shorter-term outcomes. You're welcome to view these as well, and I can keep this slide up for longer if folks would like to take a look at it a little bit more. I can also share these slides with you. I think they should be in the program, but I'm happy to share them as well. So that's it for the planned presentation that we have. I do have some extra goodies that we can take a look at if you're interested, but I'm also open to just having Q&A, and we will pass it on to Colleen to lead our discussion.
Yeah. Yes, hi. Althea touched on our different communication platforms and different means of communication, and I just want to really point out that the value of this is that, as we know, older adults often don't know about resources in their communities. What we have learned is that those who are social service providers, older adult program leaders, are also not always aware of what's going on in other communities, and which that knowledge can strengthen their work. So that's what we see as part of the secret sauce here in our alliance, and that we have this platform for people to exchange ideas, learn from each other, and improve their work overall. So I guess I wonder if you guys have any questions about you're coming into this fair today from different places. Do you have any questions about participating in the alliance and how it might be of benefit to your individual work?
But while we are thinking about your questions, someone put in the chat that they're having trouble hearing the speakers. Is anybody else having trouble hearing us? Is it too quiet? So you may need to adjust the volume on your device that you're using to listen in then. But otherwise you can contact the IT support person whose information we've shared.
I'm sorry, where is the ability to raise hand?
If you don't see the reactions tab at the bottom, but you see some dots at the end, if you click on the 3 dots, it might bring up the reactions tab.
Oh, I see. Mm-hmm. Got it. I'm sorry. Thank you.
But also we're a small group, so you can chime in, I think. I think we can just chime in.
I just wanted to follow the right protocol here. I did have a question with regarding communication. Mm-hmm. I guess it's twofold. One is we observed in getting back from focus groups as well as from our survey out to the community was the desire for one source of communication regarding age-friendly initiatives and programs in town, meaning with today's way of everybody getting, using different sources of communications, Facebook, text, emails, and so one of the observations that came back was that residents felt one source would be really helpful. And I was wondering if you'd come up with that in Teaneck or in Garfield. That was just one question we had.
Yeah, so each of our, or at least the communities funded by Taub and Grotta, have come up with their own newsletters, is what they call them, and they A few were doing print versions for a while before COVID, but it's mostly electronic now. And they're each sort of doing it in a different way. Some in partnership with their government municipality. So
Right.
in Teaneck, we do it on our own. And you mentioned all the different platforms and how it can feel overwhelming.
Right.
But the general advice with communications is to be on all platforms, because you just don't know where you're going to reach somebody. So, so we have a monthly newsletter we email blast out to everyone. But we're also on Facebook and Twitter. And we are linked from our town website so that anyone on the town website can find us. But in general, we do feel that there is a huge demand for more information from residents about older adult services. Also, caregivers are looking for this information, and we are constantly trying to elevate these local platforms, get more to subscribe to them. And the goal is to sort of be seen as also a nonpartisan informed provider of information, because there is, in the vacuum that happened when local journalism declined, a lot of Facebook groups, community newsletters, and a lot of them can get very heated and political. But, we're trying to build out our information platform as the alternative to that, while it has a specific focus on, helping people age in place and imparting that kind of information. It's separate from the town government, and it doesn't get involved in local politics. So, if you can sustain that in Livingston, that is what we've seen. There's a huge appetite for it.
Yeah, no, thank you for that answer. That's helpful. Maybe having one impartial source that goes out to everybody. Got it. I was wondering if, in our town, the local paper is probably the most read in terms of how older adults / seniors get their news. And I was wondering what you have found in your experience. Is the local paper, I know local journalism has declined, but in Livingston, it still seems to be thriving to some extent. And I was wondering what you're seeing across, northern part of the state, whether local papers are still, the main go-to source for a lot of seniors.
Yeah, so it's very community dependent. We have some communities in the Alliance, like Montclair and used to be Ridgewood, but more Westwood, where there are active local papers that are, when our age-friendly initiatives hold events or do things, they will put in articles about them. And so if you have that in your town, I would definitely take advantage of it. In Teaneck and Inglewood are two places where the local paper declined significantly, and they're not. So you have to use what assets you have in your community on communication. And if it's not the local paper, if it's instead become a Facebook group that isn't too politically charged,
right,
or a local online news site like Patch,
right,
or Tap Into. I think part of your early organizing work should be looking at the communications resources of your community and figuring out how you can use and leverage them to your advantage. So take what's there and try to use that as a tool, is what I say. And I will say in Teaneck, it's a challenge because the local newspaper was replaced by a lot of superheated, politically charged newsletters. So we had to do our own thing so as not to get in the middle of that. So
thanks for sharing that. Good advice. Appreciate it.
Did anybody else have any questions? Or as you see, Althea put up on the screen the different communications platforms of Age Friendly North Jersey. And the reason there are different categories within there is the same thing within our ecosystem of age-friendly leaders and older adult service providers. Everybody likes to has personal preferences about their communication platforms and whether they're more likely to look at things on a Padlet or listservs are useful, but then there are people whose emails pile up and they never get to it. So we are on all these different platforms to be of service to the members of the Alliance and try to get information to them in whatever way they will consume it. And so those are the different options. I don't know if you had any questions. Padlet is fairly new, so some people haven't heard of that platform, but we really like its ease and that it's a good way to share information, and you don't have to be an IT person to figure it out.
You don't need an account. You don't need a login.
It's all free. That's a
Yeah.
good advantage if, you know.
So the township just creates this bulletin board, this Padlet, and then anybody can access it. Is that it?
Well, so no, our Alliance has created a Padlet, but
Right.
it is something like that a local age-friendly community. If you wanted to do that instead of a website, you know, in Teaneck, for part of our grant dollars were used toward getting a web domain, an email domain, and
I see.
all of these things. There's a cost in maintaining them, and you know, one advantage of the Padlet, if you weren't sure, you know, if you create these communications platforms, you have to keep paying for them and keep maintaining them. You also have to make sure you can put new content onto them. And so that can be a challenge if you're still like a fledgling organization. And if you
Right.
want to start with something where you don't have to commit to that, the Padlet is useful for that. You know, but having a web presence is, as you know, a big part of you know, establishing your identity, getting known, being seen, getting heard. So any of these options that we have on there, whether a newsletter, a big part of the organizing work is sort of pushing out the information. And so whatever you decide to pick, you have to understand that you have to play an active role in putting that link in front of people and reminding them, hey, we're here and this is what we do. Age-friendly is not a term that is understood still by a lot of people. They tend to think of senior citizens issues or aging, and even just constantly reminding them that age-friendly is like a different perspective, trying to improve life for people of all ages, of all backgrounds, of all.
Yeah. Hi, thanks so much for your questions and for the conversation. You can continue to be in contact with us. I'll put our information in the chat. We will be heading back into the breakout rooms and back into the main room in just a second. So thanks.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just came in and I know we only have about 20 seconds, but Colleen, I just want to learn of organizations that are in my area. So that last picture you had, that last grid, will that